The new novel, Colored Television, uses fiction and satire to spotlight sensitive and often difficult realities of American life. Senior arts correspondent Jeffrey Brown talks to author Danzy Senna for our arts and culture series, Canvas.
And I have affection for all the places and people I skewer in the book.
In Danzy Senna's new novel, all manner of contemporary culture is subjected to sometimes brutal skewering. Hollywood, publishing, class and real estate, most of all, attitudes toward race.
People aren't expecting a comedy about racial identity or about someone failing, and financial woes and familial problems, but the comedy in it has a lot of darkness underneath it, and it feels like freedom to me to be able to work in that tone.
Did you have fun writing this book?
I had a lot of fun. Most of all, I'm making fun of myself or people like me. I'm often writing about people in my world and people like me who I never see represented. So, so much of my work is about putting those people into the light.
From her first book, the 1998 novel Caucasia and on, Senna has mined and examined her own world of growing up biracial in America, the tensions within her own community and the broader culture. In Colored Television, her protagonist is a biracial, struggling writer, wife, and mother named Jane Gibson, who can't finish her epic novel, which her black husband playfully dubs her Mulatto War and Peace, and gets drawn into the epically nutty world of television executives breathlessly seeking the next big thing, a biracial comedy. So you've written a novel in which we have a biracial writer, you, writing about a biracial writer, right, who is writing now a TV series about a biracial writer.
It's a hall of mirrors.
A hall of mirrors. Was it confusing for you as you were writing?
It felt completely natural, and they're also living in a house that has no windows on the outside and is all glass on the inside, so it's like this navel-gazing house, and the book itself is doing the same thing, and she's doing the same thing within the book. And because it's a comedy, it sort of feels like a joke within a joke within a joke.
Senna herself was born in Boston in 1970 to a white mother, the poet Fannie Howe, and a black father, editor and author Carl Senna, in an atmosphere of black pride and empowerment that shaped her own sense of self.
My siblings and I all look different, and blackness was the only identity that holds all those colors in the world I grew up in. It was the only one that sort of absorbed all of these different complexions into it. Whiteness was sort of the exclusionary category, and blackness was the inclusionary category. And my parents also knew that, that was the identity that they needed to sort of uphold and give us pride in, and it wasn't the white side of us. So for me, there was no contradiction between looking the way I do and also having a white mother and being black, because of that moment where there was no mixed race category, that's just what you were.
But what about in the larger culture?
I mean, I've faced confusion from people all my life, and I think in some ways it's why I became a writer, or it sort of formed me as a writer, because I was always feeling like an other amongst others. I also found that I felt like a spy oftentimes in America, that I was seeing things that other people didn't see. And so with my work, I'm always sort of trying to write from the complexity and the nuance of being within that experience, because it's really a story that's weirdly undertold.
Guess Who's Coming to Dinner, American Girl dolls, nice liberal neighborhood Senna dubs multicultural Mayberries, the Kardashians, and a whole lot more. They're all here. In popular culture today, Senna sees a kind of glamorization, even what she calls a fetishization of being mixed. Some of it referenced with humor in her novel, including the fad for Labradoodle dogs.
So I don't know, is she Indian or is she black?
But she also sees something else, as when Donald Trump said this of Kamala Harris.
Because she was Indian all the way, and then all of a sudden she made a turn and she became a black person.
Just to be clear,
that tone that he spoke about her with was so familiar to me. It was the tone that I've heard my whole life. where, you know, you're not really black, you can't be black, you don't look black. You know, let me see your family picture, let me see, and this idea that you're an imposter of yourself and that your family story is constantly being discounted. These things that you hold inside of you that feel naturally who you are, you're not half and half, you're a whole person, are constantly being met with suspicion and a kind of hostility or disbelief from the world because you don't fit this kind of cartoonish or kindergartenish idea of what the races are.
Now on a book tour that included the Center for Fiction in Brooklyn, Senna continues to play with that never-ending, fraught American story, giving it her own twist, one that mixes some serious issues of our time with some serious laughs at the way we try to negotiate them.
I do think people really want to laugh right now. Like there's a feeling that about these subjects that, you know, you look at Twitter and everybody's on tenterhooks and it's like something, anxiety is released when we laugh. And there's sort of this little change that occurs in us when we find a way to laugh at ourselves. So for me, this is laughing at ourselves. And all of the sort of deeper messages are hidden in this laughter and in this comedy. And that I feel excited about, that tone and that emotional range that people are getting from this.
The novel is Colored Television. Danzy Senna, thank you very much.
Thank you.